Hello, this is Victor at restoreyourmercedes.com. This video is for Alex in Canada, and what we're looking here at is engine harness, body mounted, that is found in 92 to 95 Mercedes V12 S600s, 600 SCLs, coupes and sedans. Similar harness is installed in SL models, but shorter than this. This is the W140 chassis. Now, this harness is a huge harness, as you can see by a layout over here. It connects to many different things, and this is basically one of the major harness that feeds engine. Secondary harness that goes to injectors connects to this connector. So that's the one that sits in the middle of the engine, right at the very top in the center on V12 models. And it starts from here, from the huge body mounted harness. So we have our main connectors here. We have our some wires, I don't remember where they go, but this is our, again, this is like a octane rating for the gas, like a wherever gas you use, which part of the world the car is, it sets here for the timing, ignition timing. The some power cords, obviously some grounds, connectors here and there. One thing that I have to note is that when I receive the harness, as you can see, these wires are cut off. Okay, so it could have been that whoever removed this harness couldn't get two connectors there, and they just cut these wires off, so they have to be reattached. These wires, to just remove them and left them, that's okay. Now, the reason why I even have it here is that because in famous mass airflow sensors, wiring, they go bad on these. So in order to replace them, you have to really remove the harness, or I do patch repairs in my shop, but I need the vehicle, so I can do it on the vehicle without removing the harness. It's a job, but to remove the harness is also a big job, as you can see where it all goes. Because basically, let's just go over real quick. The main connectors, you know, we got that timing thingy, actually on both sides, as you can see, left and right bank. Now we have our, this is for the ignition module connector, that's some grounds, mass airflow sensor, these like temperature sensors and whatnot, camshaft, oops, I think I didn't catch it on the video, mass airflow, temperature sensors, that's the camshaft, position sensor for the one bank, this is for the second bank, same here, ignition module, mass airflow, that's got to be temperature sensor for second bank. Then we have this harness, this is another part of it, and here we see another ignition module connection. These are grounds, or yeah, these are supposed to be grounds, and a couple of other connectors here, auxiliary connectors, one for the fan and stuff like that. These are like switchover valves, and what is this one for? I don't remember. Again, I mean, I have to cross-reference where they all go. The same here, switchover valves. This is intake air temperature sensor, AC compressor, the AC compressor, I think auxiliary air pump, smog pump. Same here, some AC compressor, speed sensor, clutch, and all that stuff. So that's basically the harness. Now, what I did is I replaced all the wires with new ones for the mass airflow. You see, this bank is brown. They're all brown colors, and connector obviously had to be opened up. So I soldered directly inside, and this connector, both connectors were plastic welded, so they stay together. And I've wrapped portions of the wires. Of course, I retained original looms, all original lengths, and even portions of original insulation here, that the wrap. And this is like old and this is new, so because you can't really run all these wires without having them covered up in a way, because they will tangle and they will just get all messed up. So same story on this mass airflow connector. As you can see, it's done the same way as the other one, plastic weld, and these wires go all the way through this bushing. This is hard. This is difficult because this is sort of like a ceramics, some sort of glue. It's terrible to get wires through that. But again, I'm trying to retain originality because it has to be reinstalled back in the vehicle. So if the wires are all over, then you can't. So this is all original locations. Everything is truly original. So as you can see, these wires are done with blue and white stripe cables, whereas on this one they're all brown cables. So just to differentiate them. Now I did check on each and every pin, make sure that all the connections are going to proper pins. So all of that is 100%, and they are soldered, as you can see, in there really close to the connectors. I didn't want to break the connectors open, so I just soldered, and right at the very beginning, that's gonna work just fine, same way I did on my own car, so that's fine. So that's basically your mass airflow sensors. And let's go to another portion that I want to show, which is these two wires. These were also deteriorated, and they could have been shorted at some areas because they were really stuck in the sheeting, so I had to run new covering on these wires. Now these are not going to fail ever. These are Teflon cables, so these originate, as you can see from here, it goes over. One connects to the ground, that's inside the loom, and I think, where is it? I believe around this area right here. Yeah, there's like a ground or positive. Like I said, I didn't go cross-referenced it, but might not even be ground. It could be the circuit for the fan. But basically, one goes here, the other one ends up at this connector right here, and one of them, number one, as you see, the green one, that's the green one. So these wires right here, they're part of your auxiliary fan ballast resistor circuit. And let me show you what happens here. Now these are old cables, so as you can see, they're just falling apart, and in some areas they were completely bad. They're just, especially in the beginning here, as you can see, this is where a sensor would connect. I mean, it's not the sensor, it's the ballast resistor. Now, and obviously they were completely bare at the end on the resistor. Now this is the deal with this resistor. This is part of the harness itself. So Mercedes does not sell these, okay? And they all fail. It's just a matter of time when, but they will all fail. I checked it, this one has failed. So basically what happens is, when you put on the AC or the car needs a little extra coolant, auxiliary fan kicks in on first speed, like slow, speed 1. Then if it's overheating, then it kicks in into speed 2, which is high speed. So full tilt, half tilt, whatever. So the resistor here, this is the one that actually activates the first stage, first speed, slow speed. When AC is running or when the engine overheats. When AC kicks in, the pressure rises, and then slow speed activates. So it needs to be working. I mean, if you don't have it working, then you always run car at higher temperature, especially if your mechanical fan clutch failed. So, and they also fail because those are mechanical pieces. So now Mercedes does not sell this, but what you do is, so I cut off the old wires, of course, so these are all going to junk. Now Mercedes does not sell a replacement sensor, I mean the resistor like this, in this style. However, you can retrofit, and that's what the Mercedes actually recommends doing. What you do is you retrofit this. This is old school normal resistor ballast, and it's basically a metal coil in there, as you can see, just a metal wire. So very high thick cable. So that's how resistor works. I mean, basically wire heats up, and then the fan speed is lower than if it would have gotten 12 volts right at once. So you do want this piece to be installed. Therefore, you can see mounting points here, so you can get mounting points connected to the same points, at least one of them. where the original one used to go. So this is what you need. You need one of these things. They're not expensive, they're like $30, and that's how it's called. Ballast resistor for auxiliary fan. So that is what you need before you basically terminate these wires, because I don't know where you're going to install it. I just recently did it on customer's car where somebody just shorted these wires together. Now what happens then is they start heating up. The wires themselves, they start heating up, and once they start heating up, they can melt along with the other cables. Even though these wires are not going to these are Teflon cables, so they're very, very heavy duty, but they still will warm up quite a lot. So you do not want to just short it and then get your fan to kick in high speed right at once. So you do want that resistor. Let resistor to heat up, and that's what it is made for. So this one has already failed. I'll throw it in the box, but that's what's supposed to heat up, the resistor, and it lowers the speed of the fan. So this is important before. I mean, you can run without it if it's cold and whatnot, but I don't recommend it. You do want to have auxiliary fan kicking stage 1, stage 2. So that is another portion of the wiring that had to be done. So overall, this is basically ready to go. I mean, it did take a lot of my time, but it is what it is. It needs to be done. Customer removed it, so and mailed over. Came in a big box like this, but I'll see what I can do. It's a huge box, and off it goes. Because if those wires short out on your mass airflows, then your engine is flooding or running way too lean on one bank or both banks, choking, coughing, and power is not there. It's not good. So those wires, they all fail on all these models, 92 to 95. So they have to be done one way or the other. And I'm actually going to be doing the job very soon. I'll be doing a V12 replacement of these wires, but on the vehicle, not removing the harness, on the vehicle. So that's basically what I do. I'll probably do it by my home here. Okay, well, pardon my mess, but it is what it is. Just want to make this video before I mail it out. Okay, so this is all. This is Victor at RestoreYourMercedes.com. Thank you for watching.